Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. So I have been taking simmers through college or university for some time now. And right now I'm in a streak where I just love to play in the campus neighborhoods. This is a video about university life. It was the first expansion pack to come out and it was definitely a game changer. It added a brand new life age and the realism of education giving the simmers more opportunities and higher wages. It just blew my mind back then, and I'm actually quite still impressed with this idea. So, I grew up watching the High School Musical movies, and even though university isn't high school, the campus vibe was just so interesting to me. Just the dorm rooms, the cheerleaders, the mascots, and the professors. It had me, to be honest. I was so into it. But what didn't catch my attention in the beginning were the different majors, the subjects that the simmers could take. Because I wasn't that interested in the subjects or the career opportunities back then, but the majors are actually quite well done. The years and the semesters makes some sense at least, and the careers afterwards does too. But the irony is actually also what caught my eye recently, because the descriptions of the majors and the different years, let's talk about that. It's just so well done. So today, we're going to take a look at what your sim will have to go through to major in philosophy. First and foremost, let's take a look at the description of the major, because it says, philosophy. The study of the fundamental problems of existence and sim understanding. Is it metaphysical mumbo-jumbo or the only path to enlightenment regarding the problems of sim kind? Hard to say. One fact and indisputable though, philosophy textbooks have the longest words ever. So I sense the irony with this description, even though it's up to the players to decide if philosophy is just some mumbo-jumbo. The joke about the longest words in the textbooks are funny as well, because I guess everything else can be disputed when talking about philosophy. But first things first, I think we should take a look at the semesters and the descriptions of the different classes. Because as a first semester freshman, the first class for a junior majoring in philosophy is what is the meaning of this? That's the name of the class. And to be honest, it's probably also the first thing that a student in real life will and should ask themselves. And the question itself is as old as mankind and will probably never be able to finally answer it, I guess. And here I love the detail with the question and the exclamation mark, because the frustration is clear, as it should be. So I guess the class must be an introduction to philosophy as a science. The students are probably taught that the words come from the two ancient Greek words, philos, love, and sophia, wisdom. So it's an introduction to the field they're majoring in, I think. So the question made me think too, not so much about the meaning of my own life, that's way too near, but about what simmers are able to ask themselves, because this question indicates that simmers have a consciousness and aren't just puppets for the player's sake, at least in the game's POV. If we take a look at the skills needed for this semester, they are 1 mechanical skill and 1 cleaning skill. And we probably can't conclude much of this, but if I have to try, I think that mechanical skill makes sense because the students need to know the craftsmanship of the field, and cleaning, well, maybe it's for being critical, but I guess you can say you're cleaning through what's relevant and what isn't when you study. Please let me know in the comments, what do you think? Let's take a look at the next semester. The class for the second semester freshmen is called the refrigerator light, proof versus fate. So the difference and the dynamic between prove and believe also goes way back. And the question here is funny because is the light still on when the door is closed and we can't tell? And how can we prove that it is when we won't be able to see it? So this class must be a class in scientific method. And it makes good sense that it's a freshman class, should be in the beginning of the studies. So I can imagine, and this is a funny bit, I can imagine Simmers opening and closing the fridge, trying to catch a glimpse of the light going off just before the door closes, or opening the door real quickly, trying to catch the light on or off. So the skills needed for this class are 1 cooking, 1 charisma, and 1 creativity. The charisma and creativity makes sense to me, but the cooking? Well, I wonder if it's a pun on the name of the class. You know, of course you'll need a cooking skill to answer a question about the refrigerator light. The Simmers will probably gain the cooking skill either way, just by opening and closing the fridge so much. I wonder. So the next year is a first semester sophomore. And the first class of the sophomore year is called Old Dead Guys Who Thought Stuff. Well, this class must have to be an introduction to philosophers. So I can imagine that the Greek philosophers are taught, such as Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, probably also Nietzsche, Kierkegaard, and many more. Anyways, the name of the class has a ironical distance to the historical philosophers, but it seems like the relevance is acknowledged since there is a class. But maybe the name of the class is just a result of a professor trying to be young with the young. So the skills needed for this class are 1 body, 2 logical, and 2 creativity. And this one is difficult because I can't really see why these skills would be needed to get to know philosophy history. Maybe body is needed because the amount of reading needs a lot of stamina. That could make sense, I guess. The next semester, this class is called Optimists and Other Idiots, which is funny because many philosophical thoughts seems to have some pessimistic sense. And as a pessimist, I would definitely also say that optimists are idiots, especially because I would envy them. And in reality, there are, of course, both pessimistic and optimistic thoughts in philosophy, so maybe this class is referring to a specific professor's taught or school. So the skills needed for this class are 2 cooking, 2 charisma, and 3 logic. And I guess it requires logic to tell who are idiots and who aren't. A student would need to present things also, so charisma makes sense too. But cooking again? Do you have any thoughts? Why? The next year would be junior year, and the first semester for the junior year has a class called Philosophy's Place in the Neighborhood, Anywhere. So the name of this class is harder to decipher, I think. I guess it has something to do with philosophy as a science not being limited to a single place or time. So philosophical questions can also be asked like anytime and about anything or everything. So yeah, I guess philosophy does have a place in the neighborhood because that place could be anywhere. The skills needed for this class are 4 logic and 3 creativity. And to me, it seems reasonable. I won't even question it. Let's move on. The second semester in the junior year, the class is called Existentialism, Depressing Yourself on Purpose. A funny name for a class again, because thinking too much about your existence, well, I guess it might depress you. The more I think about my existence, the more I question it, and it's not necessarily a pleasant thought to question your own existence. So I guess it's not always uplifting, and a class about dread and crisis, I guess it's it would be depressing yourself on purpose. So that's a funny pun. I'll have to admit it. The skills needed for this class is 3 cooking skills and 4 creativity. And the creativity skills I can definitely see because often these thoughts would be brand new. Cooking though, is it about understanding how single components adds up to a single component? I don't know. Next year. First semester of the senior year. The name of the class is Who Controls the Pie Menu and Why? The class is maybe more corporate orientated in the name. it could make sense since the simmers are almost graduating. The question itself, it's a bit odd, it's a bit funny. It could refer to the frustration of cafeteria menus, and probably more of reference to the philosophers' constant question of reality. Like, why is it always pie? So the skills needed for this class is 3 charisma and 5 logic, and it seems suitable for a corporate world, but a need for cooking skill, it would have made such good sense here, but I guess I missed that opportunity. The second semester, senior. This is a senior project, and it's called Preparing for the Fast Food Industry. Ouch. Well, that one stings. So where the first semester class sounded corporate, this does too, but I think it's referring to flipping burgers and not so much changing the industry. I have no idea if the unemployment rate is high with this major, but the Sims creators might have thought so. So the skills needed for this class is 4 cooking and 4 charisma. Well, finally I got my cooking skills, I guess. And the charisma makes good sense too, since you have to defend your thesis and you'll probably need charisma to sell burgers as well. But ouch. Again, the cooking skills needed for this is just... It just really backs up the pun of the name, I think. But anyway, that was a major in philosophy in The Sims 2. So please let me know if you had just a tiny bit as much fun as I did, because when I noticed this, I was so pleased. I thought it was so great. But that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and stay tuned for another video. Bye.